Hi guys, this will be the first of several videos where we cover the MOBOTIX SYNC, the Intelligent Data Center. So the sync runs on a Windows platform, and as you can see here, it is browser based. So let's log in. After you log in, this is the page that shows up. Typically, the application is in a pause mode, so if you were on a busy street, you wouldn't log into the captures streaming by your view. So you can see down here we do have a play button. So we are in the paused mode. Okay, just a couple of things I want to go over about this screen. We've got what I like to refer to as the hamburger up here. This is the settings. This is all the configuration settings within the application. Okay, we will not be going over these today. Just going to be showing you some of the highlights of that front page. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close that. The application starts up with the search criteria being today's captures. Okay, so you can see here the 23rd of August 2024 from 12 a.m. until now. The number of plates that have been captured from my two cameras outside, you can see 212. Okay, we are in the pause mode, so if there are some vehicles that travel past these cameras while we're talking here in the pause mode, if I do a refresh here, you may see this count increase if we do have any captures happening outside. Okay, the typical data that shows up, unless you configure your screen to show and be able to export different items, you can see you've got a lot of choices here. Okay, but by default, these are the items that show up. So we've got the capture date, the plate data, the picture that was captured to get to the plate data, the allowed status. I do not have allowed and not allowed set up, but this is where that would show up, just in case you were doing like some type of access control with sync. The names of the cameras that are making the captures, the country of origin of the plate, the direction of the vehicle. Of course, getting closer means that the vehicle is traveling towards you and you're capturing the front license plate. Getting farther, of course, the vehicle is traveling away from the camera, so capturing the rear plate. Unknown could be if the car comes into view of one of the cameras that capture plates at an odd angle, it could show up as unknown. We're not doing speed here. As you can see, they're just all a -1 here, a -1. To do speed within sync, you need two cameras, and we won't get into that today. Again, we can configure columns here, what you want to show, what you want to export, the size of the columns, and the positions. Okay, so you can have the plate capture show up first with the time and date second. So you can mix and match these all around to your liking. If we want to get into the live mode, we would just tap the button here. Now again, we've got the pause button instead now, so we could stop that. But if there's not a lot of activity outside, but if there was, we would see these plates coming in, filling in from the top. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put it back in the pause mode. The icon down here, you can actually add a plate to today's database. Okay, and then this last button here, you can download a CSV file. Okay, and you get choices of downloading today's, a certain date and time, or your whole database. Okay, moving up here to the search criteria, again by default today is in the search criteria. If I cancel out that criteria, you'll watch the number of plate captures increase dramatically, which would be all the ones currently in my database. So you can see I delete that, and you can see that I've got 11,000 724 captures currently. Okay, I could do a refresh here, see if any cars came by. Nope, none since we've been talking here for a couple minutes. And then if you wanted search criteria to customize that, just tap this. You can search for plates, certain dates, capture types, certain cameras, and so forth, status. So this is all the search criteria. You can search for alarms that have been done, locations, and then they give you a spot for information regarding make, model, color, category, classification, and so forth. Okay, so this is an example of some of the search criteria. And to view the actual captures, you would basically just click, okay, anywhere along this line, and this is what comes up. This particular capture was done by my long pass filter sensor. That's why it looks dark here. This sensor is mainly used for low light situations, but it does even capture sometimes during daylight, okay, or during lit situations. By default, you get this little magnifying glass, which is kind of cool, and you can come up and confirm that it is TRL9891, okay? You can take a snapshot of this image by simply clicking the camera button here. You can export this image with the export button, and then you can lock this image with the lock button here. So this image will not be overwritten as your database fills up and starts to overwrite first in, first out captures, okay? So, and then you can just kind of page through some of your captures. So you can see I've got cameras pointing in different directions. Okay, so you could just page through those. If you do come upon a plate and you are looking over your database and confirming some of these, if you do happen to see that your capture was possibly partially blocked, in fact, a while ago I saw a capture where a person was walking across the parking lot and they barely covered the first couple letters of the plate that was actually moving away from them, of course, not coming towards them. And the plate still picked up, but the database didn't know that the plate had a full 7 characters. So it filled up 5 of the characters, left out the 2 that were covered by the person. But with other captures, you would see the full plate, and you can actually go in and modify the details of this capture. So let's say the capture was missing the 26, but by you checking the images out, you can actually make this correct. And again, I'll bring in the 26 here again. Hit the save button, and then the database would be accurate, just in case you need to search for that vehicle later on. Just because it missed a couple characters because the plate was being covered temporarily, doesn't mean you have to give up that capture. You just need to utilize possibly a capture from another camera or another angle and make the database correct. Hit the save button, and now the database is correct, okay? You can add these on the fly to authorization list and owners, blacklist, whitelist. You can do all this on the fly as you're monitoring these plates. Okay. And so again, just to show you a couple more here. So this previous one is from one of our Move cameras, the Move Bullet, the 2 megapixel ALPR bullet camera. Okay, and then the one here, that sensor is mounted to an M73 IoT camera. That camera also has a day-night sensor on it, which if I page through some of these, see that, okay, there's another capture. There's the day-night sensor, so it's capturing that car actually twice because we've got the dual LPR application running on this M73. So I'm pretty much covered with daytime captures and nighttime captures. Okay, so you can see that's the same vehicle passing through that long pass filter sensor. So I basically picked him up twice. Okay, so again, lit situations, low light situations, with the M73 IoT camera running a day-night sensor on one side and the long pass filter on the other side, you'd be hard pressed to miss any vehicles traveling past this camera. Okay, so again, that's kind of an intro to the day-to-day use of MOBOTIX SYNC. There will be some videos where we dig into a little bit deeper, especially when it comes to some of the settings for setting sync up. And then we'll do some videos on setting the camera up for LPR. We do have a lot of information on our website, MOBOTIX.com, and we also have a lot of information in our knowledge base, which we call community.mobotics.com. So again, that's a URL, community.mobotics.com, or simply mobotics.com. A lot of information out there, guys. We also have 2 YouTube pages, MOBOTIX AG and MOBOTIX Americas. A lot of information to be found on both of those also. We're all about trying to help you guys be successful. And thank you for attending this. We'll come out shortly with one that gets a little bit further into the MOBOTIX SYNC. Okay, thanks again, guys. We'll see you next time.